गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। प्रणाम, नमस्कारम एंड जय हिंद। आज हम देखने वाले हैं चाइना क्लाइमेट ट्रैप। व्हाई एम आई डूइंग दिस? ये चाइना के क्लाइमेट के बारे में जानकारी हासिल करना क्यों जरूरी है? ये इसलिए जरूरी है क्योंकि दिस विल हेल्प अस फोरकास्ट वेयर चाइना इज गोइंग ओवरऑल as far as its economy and total power structure is concerned. 4 days back हमने चाइना का फूड इनसिक्योरिटी के बारे में एक वीडियो जारी किया था। आज हम चाइना के क्लाइमेट चेंज के बारे में जारी कर रहे हैं। If you see these two, along with the video I'm going to put out next week, I think on 16th or 17th, on China's declining economy, a tree will give you an idea where China is actually heading. It proves my case. Right, but we'll stick to the climate today. We'll go through the climate issues because it has tremendous relevance in China's future. This is something people don't appreciate. ये जो picture आप देख रहे हो, this is of an article which was put out by South China Morning Post last year. It's written China's record heat wave, worst drought in decades, last year. On the left, you see the scene of a drought, जहाँ पानी का किल्लत है. On the right, you see uh, a flood. This is this year. Sorry, the left is the one, left and right, both the pictures are of the flood of this year. You had a severe flood this year, which is ongoing, and last year you had a drought. And we'll look into it in detail आगे जाके. हम इसको राइट इससे पहले कि मैं आगे बढ़ूं, मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूं ये जो चाइना का इकोनॉमी का फाइनल एनालिसिस नहीं, लंबा एनालिसिस है वो. मैं आई विल ट्राई एंड पुट दैट इन इंग्लिश इन ऑन गाना शॉट, एंड हिंदी में मैं जयपुर डायलॉग्स में बात करना चाहता हूं. वो मैं मिस्टर संजय दीक्षित जी से बात कर रहा हूं किस तरीके से करना है. डेट एक दिन ऊपर नीचे करके करेंगे, बट that will be in one language only, and in either Jaipur dialogue or this. So that's how it will be. Okay. Now, बार बार ये मैं ग्राफिक लेके आता हूं जो चाइना का हाल क्या है. जो रेड में है इसका एक्शन पॉइंट्स, जो चाइना द वे जी जिनपिंग एंड हिज गैंग आर गोइंग, डिप्लोमेसी, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड मिलिट्री. बीच वाले हैं the problems of private sector, consumption, economy, real estate, food insecurity, which we have spoken of, jobs, infrastructure, exports and healthcare. They are having problems in this. इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. और ये परसों संडे में मैं ये इसका I'll give you in-depth thing about some of these things which have come out latest. That's part of my update. Demography we'll do on 16th or 17th. Today we'll talk of climate change. This is a long-term problem which not many people are focusing on, not people are analyzing. And this is going, ये निर्णायक होगा चाइना का फ्यूचर के लिए. उसका भविष्य में क्लाइमेट चेंज बार बार आता रहेगा उसको सताने के लिए, और उससे कोई छुटकारा नहीं है. बहुत लोग पूछ रहे होंगे कि भाई अगर ये पहले ही मैं स्थापित करना चाहता हूँ, पूछ रहे होंगे कि भाई चाइना में अगर क्लाइमेट चेंज होगा, क्या इंडिया में क्लाइमेट चेंज नहीं होगा? क्लाइमेट चेंज जरूर होगा इंडिया के अंदर, उसका असर पड़ेगा. टुडे ओनली आई हैव रेड दैट इंडिया हैज मेट ऑल द क्लाइमेट चेंज गोल्स. वी आर facing climate change as per a plan, mitigating effects. That is why you are still not food insecure. You have a problem, but you are facing it. Whereas China is not so. और ये आज मैं I'm going to put that across. That's the difference. Why China is at huge risk is this climate thing is out of its control. Droughts and floods, this is what I wrote last year, have been endemic to China from time immemorial. Many Chinese dynasties have collapsed due to drought, famines, and floods. जब भी ये इनका अकाल पड़ता है, सूखा पड़ता है या बाढ़ आता है, इनके राजा महाराजा बदली हो जाते हैं, राइट? और ये पिछले साल मैंने लिखा था, द करंट ड्राउट इज मोर एक्सटेंसिव एंड सीवियर। पिछले साल की स्लाइड है ये। बाएं है एक दृश्य जो 2020 का नजारा है, जब यहाँ बाढ़ आया था इसी इलाके में। अब 2023 में और इलाके में बाढ़ आ रहा है, नॉर्थ में बाढ़ आ रहा है। और दाहिने साइड का पिक्चर है पिछले साल 2022 में जहां ड्राउट आया था, इधर अकाल पड़ा था। अभी ये जो अकाल है या ड्राउट है या फ्लड है या डिजास्टर है, ये चार चीजों के ऊपर असर पड़ता है। पानी जो पीने के लिए जरूरत है, सब चीज के लिए आपको जरूरत है। उसके तहत आपका फूड सिक्योरिटी के ऊपर असर पड़ता है, एनर्जी के ऊपर असर पड़ता है, चाहे हाइड्रो पावर के जरिए आप निकालना चाहते हो या कोयले से, थर्मल, या अणुशक्ति से। इवन न्यूक्लियर प्लांट्स नीड वाटर। विदाउट वाटर यू विल नॉट गेट एनर्जी। So there's a limiting factor which I'm telling you at the outset about China's future, because पानी का किल्लत होने वाला है। सेमीकंडक्टर्स, हम सब बोलते हैं सेमीकंडक्टर बनाना बनाना बनाना, but for semiconductors you need very clean water, and that is why these chaps are going to Xinjiang to do it. Okay, now let's go and take a little dive into the geography, the riverine geography of China. From the north, in fact, China has got three main rivers: Yellow River, Yangtze River, and Zi River. Right? All three rivers originate in the Tibetan plateau. That is why they'll never let go of Tibet. कुछ भी हो जाए, टिबेट को छोड़ नहीं सकते ये, क्योंकि उसके बिना इनको पानी नहीं मिलेगा। ओके, जहां तक यांगजी रिवर है, आप दोनों उसमें देखिए, यांगजी इज द मेन रिवर ऑफ चाइना, यांगजी एंड येलो रिवर। यांगजी में देखिए दो डॉट हैं। These are called Lake Poyang and Lake Donting, and these are the biggest freshwater lakes in China. And they are very important lakes for their waterine system. Yellow River. Yellow River is also called the sorrow of China. इनका भाषा में इसको बोलते हैं हुआंगी, और इसको बोलते हैं sorrow of China. ये sorrow of China के बारे में मैं तो बचपन से सुन रहा हूँ। इसका ये है कि जब बाढ़ आता है, इसके अंदर पानी भर जाता है, इट ओवरफ्लोज इट्स बैंक्स एंड इट कॉज डिवास्टेटिंग फ्लड्स। और इस फ्लड्स में करोड़ों लोग मर गए इतिहास में इनके। मास डिस्ट्रक्शन एंड प्रॉपर्टी वर्थ मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स हैव बीन जस्ट वाइप्ड आउट बिकॉज ऑफ येलो रिवर। इसको टेम करने के चक्कर में है, पर हो नहीं रहा पूरा। ओके, अभी मैं रिवर्स छोड़ के ये वर्ल्ड बैंक रिपोर्ट में आता हूं। ये वर्ल्ड बैंक रिपोर्ट, this World Bank report is of October 22. I've given the link also in this. Those of you who want to go and see, you can have. Now, as per this World Bank report, without adequate mitigation and adaptation efforts, climate risks will become a growing constraint to China's long-term growth, right, and prosperity, threatening to reverse development gains. Conversely, if efforts to tackle climate risks lead to a significant decline in growth and rising inequality, they would deprive millions of people of development and likely erode support for the reforms necessary to achieve a lasting economic transformation. This is the report. It's not a simple report. It's very clear. The risk is very clear. Okay, ये देखिए. The impacts of climate change threaten China's densely populated and economically critically low-lying coastal areas. And that's been proven time and time and time again. Which has been affected now? The entire northern coastal area has been affected, including Beijing, Hubei, Pura, North. Okay, right. Densely populated and economically critical low-lying coastal areas, which are home to an estimated one-fifth of China's population and contribute a third of its GDP. And that is what is being hit at this point of time. China already experiences frequent coastal flooding, storm surges, coastal erosion, and saltwater intrusion. Unabated climate change could lead to an estimated GDP losses of between 0.5 to 2.3% as early as 2030, according to this report. 2030. Remember this, this is important. 2030 is a landmark because and 2030 is 7 years away. From now to 7 years away, what's going to happen, right, is very important because after 7 years, there's going to be a dramatic shift in the population in China if it has not already happened by then. Today's report says they're going to only have 7 million babies this year. Last year, they had 10 million babies. The year before that, it was 10.5 million babies. Already 500,000 last year, as per the thing. If they drop 30% people, 30% population in 1 year of newborns, 3 million. In 7 years, it's 21 million. That's one-fifth of their population or one-sixth of the population is gone. What are we talking of? It's not replaceable. And that you add this climate change to it and the food insecurity, you see, you have to rethink China. What people don't understand. And when I finish my economy thing, you yourself will say, yeah, where are we going and where is this nation going? Okay, but we'll go through it. See this thing. This is the extract from that report. What does it say? What is the percentage change in GDP in agriculture, right? In every aspect of life, okay? Disasters, health, temperatures, and all impacts. Same thing which I said, 0.5 to 2.5%. Who's going to be hit max? The lower level. The bottom 40% of China's population. Ye hai. They're going to lose up to 4% of their income. Okay. And if they lose 4% of their income, what consumption will this nation do? What economic recovery will happen? These are questions which we have to think. Yeah, agar people just talk nonsense that China will recover, I doubt if China will recover. This is their article. And this article is not far back. I think it's February 23. Yeah, February 23. I remember that. Is China prepared for a warmer and wetter future? Okay, China will have longer heat waves, more floods, and warmer seas this century. Climate scientists warn. And who are these climate scientists? Chinese fellows. Half of China's, there's a report by think tank in Sydney. Half of China's GDP is at risk of climate-related disaster by 2030. There's a China Sydney-based research firm XDI. It says it talks of gross domestic climate risk. 9 of China's provinces, accounting for more than half of the nation's GDP, are going to are at risk. You read through this, there's no problem. At this point of time, there is a energy crisis in Yunnan, which is the southern, which is just above Myanmar. And there's a drought condition going on when there's, or it's just about over, when there's flooding on the north. So there's flooding on the north and a drought in the south. And there's an energy crisis in south, which is industrial areas. So where will they manufacture from? This is a again इनका picture है ये. China warns of extreme weather in 2023. Not mine. I have not imagined these pictures. They're taken by some Chinese fellow only. That article says China's fragile ecological environmental as well as its regional geography make it vulnerable to climate change. That will result in longer heat waves, more frequent floods, and warmer ocean surface temperatures this year, said Chao King Chen, director of the National Climate Center, a subsidiary of China Meteorological Administration. It is not by P.R. Shankar. Southern China, which covers Yunnan and Guangdong provinces, Guangxi Zhuang region, and nearby Hong Kong, should focus on ensuring energy supplies during the summer's high temperatures, and coastal areas should have defenses against typhoons. This area will also see an increase in drought. This is their prediction, and it's coming true. This will come true every year. In northern China, where droughts will become less frequent, disaster prevention should work to target geological and secondary disasters caused by heavy rainfall such as floods and urban waterlogging. This is a prediction which they did in February, March. It has come true. Jayant Kashyap is talking about coal and all. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. It is not out of my grid. Okay. In August 2020, आपको अगर याद नहीं है, जिसको याद नहीं है, मैं बताना चाहता हूँ, ये थ्री गॉर्जस डैम है. थ्री गॉर्जस डैम इतना बड़ा डैम है, ये बोलते हैं कि वो जिसमें पानी है, इतना वजन है, वो पूरा भूगोल का रोटेशन जो है ना, वो धीरे कर देता है 1 सेकंड के लिए. इतना पानी है उसमें. अगर पानी है उसमें से निकाल दो तो वो थोड़ा 1 सेकंड आगे बढ़ जाता है. क्लाइमेट अपना टाइम काल. In August 2020, rainfall and water inflow into Three Gorges Dam was so heavy that it threatened to breach the dam walls. मेरे को अभी भी याद है, ट्विटर में रोज 100-150 आते थे कि यार टूटा या नहीं टूटा, आज का क्या खबर है, कल का क्या खबर है, इसमें कितना पानी आया नहीं आया, कितने दरार पड़े या नहीं पड़े. ओके. 2022 में इसमें पानी नहीं था. 2020 में बाढ़, 2022 में बिल्कुल पानी नहीं था. इसके अंदर से पानी निकालना मुश्किल हो गया था. राइट. और ये जो 2 लेक हैं बीच में, ये भी सूखे पड़ गए. इसके भी नजारा देखेंगे. ये था उस वक्त पिछले साल का कहानी. फॉर मोर देन 70 days straight, a brutal heat wave ravaged much of China with sustained temperature of more than 40 degrees Celsius. It affected more than 900 people in at least 17 provinces, from southwest Sichuan to coastal Jiangsu and Zhejiang. पूरा southern China में पूरे तप गए. अब बोलोगे 40 सम टेम्परेचर क्या है यार, जब हमारा बारमेर तो में तो 25-50 हो जाता है. आजकल चेन्नई में कभी कभी 40 तो हो ही जाता है. हमें तो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. इट इज आउट ऑफ प्रोपोर्शन फॉर देम. ये टेम्परेट एरिया है, और उस टेम्परेट एरिया में अगर 40 डिग्री इसका टेम्परेचर चला गया, ये तो मर गए, क्योंकि उनको पता ही नहीं है 40 डिग्री क्या होता है. ये तो पिघल जाएंगे. यही हो रहा है. यही दूसरी बात है. यूरोप में भी प्रॉब्लम है, यूएसए में भी प्रॉब्लम है. ये नहीं बोल रहा हूं कि वहां इफेक्ट नहीं होगा, वहां तो इफेक्ट होंगे ही होंगे. बट मैं तो अपने देश के नजरिया से देखूंगा ना. हमें उतना असर नहीं पड़ रहा, उसको ज्यादा असर पड़ रहा है। कौन जीता? Who's taken precautions? Who can handle this better today? India. That's my argument. ओके, दिस वाज द नजारा जो पहले भी मैंने दिखाया। आप 21 का देखिए दृश्य जो ड्राउट का, और 22 का देखिए कितना ब्राउन हो गया पानी का। द अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर आल्सो इज रिड्यूस्ड, दैट ब्लू वन वेयर रेन्स टेक प्लेस, दैट्स अ हिली रीजन, एंड यू सी द ड्राउट कंडीशंस complete. The complete Yangtze basin, this is the Yangtze basin, was under drought. जितना भी ये, दिस इज एक्चुअली एन इंटरेक्टिव मैप। अगर आप साउथ चाइना मॉर्निंग पोस्ट में जाके इसको, इस मैप तक पहुंच जाते हो, तो इट विल टेल यू क्या क्या हुआ है। ये पिछले साल का था। कंप्लीट यांगजी बेसिन वाज अफेक्टेड। और यांगजी बेसिन का क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है? यांगजी बेसिन इज द मोस्ट इंडस्ट्रियलाइज्ड बेसिन। यांगजी रिवर जो है शंघाई से लेकर वुहान तक, व्हाट यू सी इज नेविगेबल। इसके अंदर नाव जाते हैं। इसका पूरा इंडस्ट्री, चाइना का पूरा इंडस्ट्री, ये शंघाई से लेकर वुहान और पीछे चॉन्किंग तक फैले हुए हैं। और इनका रोड ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नहीं होता, इनका इंडस्ट्रियल गुड्स वगैरह बड़े बड़े नाव आके वुहान तक या पीछे आगे तक ये सामान उठाते हैं, सीधा वहां से न्यूयॉर्क या जहां भी जाना है चला जाता है। पिछले साल ये ठप था बिल्कुल। कंप्लीट यांगजी बेसिन वाज अफेक्टेड। मेजर रिजर्वॉयर्स पोयांग एंड डोंगटिंग जो बीच में है, दो डॉट्स जो है, कंप्लीटली ड्राइड अप। हीट स्पार्क्ड वाइल्ड फायर्स, हाइड्रो पावर जनरेशन, इनलैंड शिपिंग, इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन तीनों ठप हो गए थे। इनके पास अब बिजली नहीं था। यांगजी रिवर वाज एट लोएस्ट वाटर लेवल सिंस रिकॉर्ड्स बिगेन। जब से इन्होंने काता रखा तब से खत्म। ये सब इनका बोल है, मेरा कल्पना नहीं है। एग्रीकल्चर अफेक्टेड एक्सटेंसिवली। चाइना डिक्लेयर्ड इट्स फर्स्ट ड्रॉट इमरजेंसी लास्ट ईयर। राइट। ऐसी बात नहीं है यांगजे रिवर में ये अकाल नहीं पड़े। ये देखिए, ये अकाल पड़ते रहते हैं। ये 1785 में हुआ, 1934 में हुआ, 1977 78 में हुआ, 2006, 2013 एंड 19 और 2022। अब बात ये है कि ये जो फ्रीक्वेंसी अगर आप देख रहे हो, 2006, 2013, 2019, 2022, हर 5-6 साल आजकल ये शुरू हो गया। अगर इनका मेजर इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया में अकाल पड़ता है तो चाइना का इकोनॉमी कहाँ जाएगा? ये थोड़ा सोचने वाली बात है। इस साल ना सही, अगले साल शुरू हो जाएगा, पर इस साल भी कुछ हो गया ऐसी बात नहीं है। जो सोचते हैं कि सिर्फ एक्सपोर्ट ना होने की वजह से इनका इकोनॉमी डूब रहा है, या कोई खरीद नहीं रहा है इसलिए इनका इकोनॉमी डूब रहा है, नहीं, इसकी वजह से है। अगर अकाल पड़ गया तो कौन जाके खर्च करेगा? फ्रिज खरीद ले कोई? कोई फर्नीचर कौन खरीदेगा? जब बिजली नहीं है तो आप फ्रिज भी नहीं खरीदोगे। पर अगर बिजली नहीं है, फैक्ट्री बंद है, सब कुछ बंद है, तो आपके पास तनख्वाह भी नहीं है, तो आप क्या खरीदोगे? घंटा आपको तो खाने से तरस रहे हो, और वो भी अफेक्टेड है, वो भी बाहर से आना है। आपका फूड सिक्योरिटी प्रॉब्लम में है, और आपका रहन सहन प्रॉब्लम में है। आप कौन सा सुपर पावर बनने चले? ये तो चलो हिरारी, क्या हुआ, चलो मुरारी हीरो बनने वाली कहानी है। ये पिछले साल का है, मैं दिखाना चाहता हूँ क्या नजारा था। ओके, नजदीक देखिए इसको थोड़ा। ओके, चाइना हीट वेव एंड ड्राउट, digging after dark to feed crops as largest lakes runs runs dry। पिछले साल ये रात के वक्त जब थोड़ा गर्मी कम हो जाता था, खोदते थे ये, पानी निकले कहीं। ये इनका हालत है। ये इनका पिछले साल का हालत है, जहां पूरा रिवर, ये एंग्री रिवर में खत्म। लोग इसके ऊपर साइकिल में जा रहे थे, ऊपर नीचे मोटरसाइकिलों में। बहुत लोग जब ये चाइना के बारे में बात करते हैं, उनको सिर्फ आज के बारे में बात करते हैं, आज जो नजारा देखा। आप थोड़ा अंदर पीछे जाइए, विश्लेषण कीजिए, थोड़ा एनालिसिस कीजिए, वो बिंदुओं को जोड़ दीजिए, जो दृश्य निकल आता है बड़ा क्लियर है। मैं तो इसीलिए तो बहुत दिन से बता के आ रहा हूँ कि इनका प्रॉब्लम होने वाला है और चलने वाला है। हाँ, बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि इनका पास इतना मिसाइल है, ये है, वो है। कल हमने जनरल राज शुक्ला से बात किया, वो अपने नजरिए से ठीक है, पर आप दूसरे तरीके से आप चाइना को देखिए तो कुछ और नजारा नजारा निकल आता है। ये पानी को एक चैनल से दूसरे चैनल लेने के लिए एक जगह पे देखिए कितने पाइप और लगा रहे हैं ये। ये पिछले साल का नजारा है। कम तक मैं 20-25 ऐसे 100, 150, 200, पता नहीं अनगिनत जगह पे इन्होंने ये छोटे छोटे तालाब जो बन जाते हैं जब नदी सूख जाता है, जैसे ही एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पानी लाने के लिए, ले जाने के लिए ये तरस रहे थे। ये कौन सा चाइना है भाई? सुपर पावर? थोड़ा सोचो। इसीलिए मैं जब कोई बोलता है चाइना सुपर पावर है, ये कर देगा, वो कर देगा, मैं बोला यार थोड़ा जिसको पता नहीं है बात नहीं करना चाहिए, और जिसको पता नहीं है उससे भी बात बहस करने की नहीं चाहिए, वो फिर तो बेवकूफी है। ये एक बड़ा दासू चीज है जो हमने निकाला है। ठीक, ये अचानक आ गया मेरे सब सामने, थोड़ा नजदीक देखिए। दिस इज द एवरेज हाई टेम्परेचर डेज। आप, ये रेड लाइन है, एवरेज 12 दिन होते थे। ये 91 से लेकर 2020 तक का, धीरे धीरे टेम्परेचर्स बढ़ रहे हैं। ठीक, हर साल नंबर ऑफ डेज आर गोइंग अप। ओके, फ्लड डैमेज सिंस 1990, ये 2018 तक है। ओके, फ्लडिंग इन सेंट्रल एंड ईस्टर्न चाइना रेगुलरली कॉजेस प्रॉपर्टी एंड लॉस ऑफ लाइफ। ओके, तो ये है इसका, राइट। तो इन्होंने इतना प्रॉपर्टी वगैरह जो भी है, अफेक्टेड एरियाज इन मिलियंस हेक्टेयर्स दिखाया है 20 साल के लिए, 20-30 साल के लिए। और ये जो बोलता है उसी 30 साल के लिए कितना इकोनॉमिक लॉस है, कितना ये है। अब इस दोनों को जोड़ो, जस्ट थिंक, you have developed from 1990 to 2018. China has developed, it has developed its infrastructure, everything. See the top, the area affected by floods and droughts have gone down as per their data, but the losses have gone up, because if you develop more, the losses will be more. Isn't it simple? If you're not done sustainable development, if you're not taken mitigating efforts to for floods and disasters, you lose more because you have developed like a fool and you lose like a fool. And that is precisely what is happening today in China. आप सब ने सुना होगा कि बीजिंग में बाढ़ आ गया। बीजिंग में बाढ़ आने के लिए इन्होंने ऐसे रोक लगाए, दो चार और जगह लोग मर गए, और लॉसेस तो होंगे ही। तो who caters for this loss? Their GDP, dead GDP. So that's a wasted GDP. No matter how big the GDP, it's getting wasted. Yeah, to rebuild this entire damage, it will add to the GDP. There's no doubt. But that's not productive GDP. So if you are GDP fixated about China, because the communists are GDP fixated about China, उनका हिसाब से भाई जीडीपी अगर ज्यादा है तो country is very powerful. But I don't think so. This is the uh, नजारा बीजिंग का. ये क्या है? ये वही है इनका जो मेन स्क्वायर है, जहाँ टिएनएनमेन स्क्वायर का कहानी हुआ है. इनका वो क्या जोंगवा जो भी बोलते हैं ये. ठीक. And what can Beijing learn from the worst flooding in 140 years? They learn. They learn what it costs not to mitigate against climate, what it costs for blind development. And and this is the reason मैं बार बार बताता रहता हूँ. We should not be another China. We should not be blind and foolish to go and keep developing without taking climate issues into consideration or social issues into consideration or ecology into consideration. You can defoliate the Deccan Plateau and get so many minerals that you cannot imagine. But what will happen to your ecology? What will happen to all the tribal people who are there? What will happen to everyone who is in the coastal regions? What will happen to the water traps which are there in the Deccan Plateau? Everyone thinks the Deccan Plateau is dry. Deccan Plateau is full of minerals, it's full of water. It sustains most of us in the way we have lived through history. You tamper with that through the stupid development which we keep thinking, you are asking for trouble. इसीलिए जो भी हम करते हैं धीरे धीरे करना अच्छा होता है. और जिस तरीके से चाइना वाले, you see what China has gone up very fast, it will come down very fast. And this will come. This is the thing about the flooding. Let's see what it says. Northeast faces Doksuri fallout after typhoon takes toll on Dubai. So that we know. If you read any of these reports, they're in a very bad shape. Okay? Right. Now, you have to understand something which I have explained about China. And let me explain this a little detailedly. Traditionally, north of China is water deficient. Why? Because of Yellow River. Okay? And Beijing is a dry area, incidentally, the Beijing area. In 2003, 20 years back, China launched the 60 billion south to north water transfer project. They want to take water from the Yangtze River and take it up to the north to Beijing. Okay. They also made a plan for a massive canal called the Binjuang Canal, Yin Jin Wing Canal, jo bhi hai. They want to take it from Three Gorges to Beijing. Okay. They also have plans to shift water from Lake Baikal in Russia and get it down to the north. And also water from the Brahmaputra and take it up to the north. And the area at this point of time, the south, from where they want to do this water transfer, suffered the biggest drought last year. And it is in drought this year also. Whom are they fooling themselves? This infrastructure development which they are doing will take them nowhere. They'll realize it. This is the canal, Yingbinjuan Canal. I don't know whatever that thing. They're taking from Three Gorges to Beijing. Three Gorges ही कल पर साल खत्म हो गया था पानी. अगले साल भी खत्म हो जाएगा. अगले साल नहीं तो 2 साल बाद खत्म हो जाएगा यार. Whenever there's a drought. Then what happens to all the 60 billion which they've spent in making this canal? South to what transfer? I mean, सब लोग बोलते हैं कि चाइना थिंक्स डीप, दे आर स्ट्रेटेजिक थिंकर्स, दूर का दृष्टि है. क्या यार दूर का दृष्टि? ये दूर का दृष्टि है. This is the most unscientific thing they're doing. They just want to do this. Communists just want to do something. This is their water transfer ka nazara. New channel in huge south to north water transfer project to bring relief to parched Beijing. That's what they're saying. Beijing में पानी नहीं है. Of course, this is an old one. Just to show you the pictures so that आपको पता चले चाइना का हालत क्या है. ये महाशय तो ये पिछले बार भी दिखा है, आप भी पिछले एपिसोड में भी दिखा, ये भी है फूड सिक्योरिटी. इसको फूड सिक्योरिटी के लिए आपको पानी चाहिए. जब तक आप नहीं उगाओगे, वी डिस्कस लास्ट टाइम, देयर दे टू अरेस्ट फॉरेस्ट, they did they did forestation. Sorry, to arrest deserts or desertification, they did forestation. Now to expand uh, farmland, they're doing deforestation, and they're doing deforestation on slopes also. They're just going berserk. And what happens in a drought like this? Just 3 months back, because of unseasonal rains, their complete beet crop was affected. So you look at what's happening in China internally, then you realize how their external behavior is all about. Okay, what have I written here? This is the harbinging of impending climate change. Puts China's infrastructure plans to revive its flagging economy in limbo. You have to think. And the best part or the worst part is they're still going after infrastructure. And that I will explain to you in the next thing. North China agricultural plain, it produces 60% wheat, 45% corn, 35% cotton, and 64% peanuts, is hereafter at perpetual risk. And this area is the one which is today under flood. The drought which happened last year is in an area where dependence on hydro water energy is high, because that is where there was always water. Now, China is enhancing thermal power. All forms of energy production, hydro, coal based or nuclear, needs water. ये पानी available नहीं है, कहाँ से लेके आएंगे? That is why China is looking at space-based power, going to moon, solar power, renewables, everything. The price they are paying is huge. This is going to suck their GDP out. Now you just conflate the losses they're suffering in this and the amount they're putting in military and not going into social sector schemes. Then you know what's the true state of China. It's fragile. My view is it's fragile. What's the last point? Yangtze Basin is home to more than 1 billion people. It's an industrial area. It needs more water in an era of water shortage to expand economic capacities. Overall growth in China is kept. That's the point. That's the point. If you understand this, rest everything is QED. I'm not going to talk about this when I do the macroeconomics. I'm just going to refer this. I'll put this link in the thing. Have a look at it. Have a look at that. Have a look at this. Have a look at the one on food security. Have a look on that 5 parts of Michael Pettis, and you'll see a picture developing. Right. And what does Mr. Xi Jinping say? He underlines China is on its own carbon reduction path during US climate envoy John Kerry's Beijing visit. He is not prepared to reduce emissions. He still wants to increase coal-based energy. He wants electricity, without which China is going to suffer. He's continuing. If he continues, climate change, they are in a negative cycle, complete negative cycle as far as climate change is concerned. This is this year. This year. Have a look at it closely. This year, 2023. China's economic recovery faces challenging summer as hydropower sizzles amid drought. They don't have energy. It's in the south. This problem is in the south. So, Yunnan, Chongqing, right? And now, if you have a look at this, climate change creates serious long-term problem for China's energy security carbon neutral goal. Forget carbon neutral goal. They don't have energy. That this is all their reporting. Okay, it expands power restrictions as heat wave drives demand to record levels. Last year, power crisis. Why it is happening and what does it mean for the economy? भाई पहले रह तो लो इकोनॉमी तो बाद में देख लेंगे बिजली नहीं है इनके घरों में इनके सब कुछ नहीं है this year the same lake Poyang this year last year though it went dry it marks earliest dry season on record sparking drought concerns so I'll go take you back to that map sorry allowed to yeah you look at this the north is under floods Beijing ye wo the south that is your areas are all under drought. So, where does it leave China? I'll have to go back. You'll have to be patient. Yeah. So there's no water, there's no electricity. And Poyang is getting dry, earliest level or recession level. So we'll see what happens this month in that area. There's yet another thing. Chinese public fear repeat abuse of flood relief funds after it emerges over 1 billion in aid for 2021 was misused. The corruption and massive corruption. So where does it leave China's climate? Where does it leave its economy? And this is not going away. Climate change is going to happen, and climate change has effect on its water for living, agriculture, energy, and production of semiconductors, which is an extreme thing. It's going to have a problem under infrastructure. And if after all this, if someone thinks that their economy is going to go back and start booming, all the best. Then they're fudging. Right. So I have finished. Like I said again, बार दोबारा बता रहा हूँ ये जो आज का presentation जो the presentation which I gave on food insecurity add these two and because these issues I'll not cover in the last one. Okay, so let me see the questions from top and comments. How does China going through a climatic upheaval affect geopolitics and real politics? Real politics will it? It is going to affect us, Ritik. We're going to affect it, and we have a lot of lessons to learn. इससे बहुत सीख है हमारी इसमें दो राय नहीं है right and we have no choice please again circulate this video to everyone I would request more people to join in the channel subscribe to the channel right and even I would request you to join as members also and I have started when I put a GPay thing those who don't want to go through the Google to support us put it in the description. I've given a UPI number. You can support me through that. And I've started sending some books to those who come on the channel. That's the way I look at it. So we'll do something. That's just a thing. Okay. Yeah. China has added more coal power in 22 than what the rest of the world combined have decommissioned. Yeah, they couldn't care a damn, but they're going to have a problem. Your analysis is spot on and is applicable to every region in the world. Food and water will be the next national security concern. We are experiencing it now. There's no doubt. The smart nations will be the ones who start handling this well. The foolish nations are the ones who can't handle it. But where will this climate change have maximum effect? That is the case. And I think in China it's going to be more. Because China has historically been a drought prone. That's the first slide which I showed you. Historically, China has been a place where uh, empires have changed because of droughts, floods, and famines. That's the risk. Okay, excellent presentation, which put forth the importance of economic sustainability with responsible development. That's the whole idea. In Ghana Short, I do a 360-degree presentation and look at everything before I talk. I'm an army man, but I look out of the military prison. I look at the economic prison. I look at people, the human angle of everything, and much beyond that, and the geography and the natural resources of life before I talk. Okay, I look. So, if those of you who come to Ghana Short, you'll get a 360-degree view. You can go to any other channel and you'll get entertainment. Yeah, after General Raj Shukla's interview on PLA Rocket Force, I'm really worried about. Don't worry, don't worry. He has just outlined something which is futuristic. That is what China is going. But will it be able to achieve that in light of what I've said? It has not achieved everything. It doesn't have 1,500 nukes as of now. It's still got about 300 odd nukes. They are in the process of going there. We'll see what it happens. So don't worry too much. That discussion was important to outline something and see how you have to mentally orient yourself to deal with this country. Should it go on a tangent? We need that kind of mental thinking. Okay, but you don't have to worry. Okay. So as radar can see things from a very long distance, it is now analysis. As now analysts say that China has problems in Olympics, we were told that China has control. Tarun, unfortunately, you didn't see my predictions about what I wrote about the Winter Olympics because I didn't have this channel then. Right? They didn't. They couldn't do. They failed actually. Uh, right? Great data, very hard. Yeah, coming from a general impressed and flattered Varga. That's what I said. Uh, I believe in hard data, and you have to be realistic of what you do in life. If you just think that the Chinese are going all over us and doing everything, I think we are totally out of the game. Lithium processing, anything needs water. Yeah. Due to heavy pollution, the health of Chinese people must be adversely affected and should. Yes, it is connected with their health, which is poor. Their health system is poor. That has also come out in the past few this thing. Maybe someday I'll see if I can do something on the health thing. Lieutenant Shankarji, you are teaching Manmohan Singh. No, I'm not. That man was good. He was great. Okay, he is great. Let me put it this way. I look at it from basically a fundamental bottom-up approach, ground-based approach. I am not an economist. I still remain a good army man. Okay. Everything in China is top down, including their deforestation drive. They end up planting water intensive trees for desertification, resulting in further depleting water resources. I think you made a very interesting point, Jayant. China does everything by rote. They don't always think through. So this, what you've said is that, what you've said actually is right, first and foremost. You made up, the point is that we think that China does everything with a lot of vision and care and all. It doesn't happen so. वो भेड़ चाल है और ऑर्डर है वो जी जिनपिंग ने बॉस ने ऑर्डर दे दिया कि भाई पुट प्लांट्स इट शुड कम अप इन द नेक्स्ट 3 years इट शुड कम अप व्हाट विल कम अप इन द नेक्स्ट 3 years water intensive plants are the ones which can come up. Anand, good evening. Yeah, then we can tackle PLA, Army, Air Force, but hey, Shivam, just relax, chill, okay? Go and have a drink, relax, go to sleep, have a picture, see Oppenheimer, see Barbie. Don't worry, they'll not use rocket forces in a hurry. What would be the impact of climate change on permafrost region of Tibet? Yeah, this is very interesting actually, Akash. If the permafrost, the temperature changes in Tibet, we need to see this. Actually, is one of the most important questions which have to come out because the infrastructure, which is all based on permafrost technology, will collapse or will have a problem. मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट जो खास करके जो इस परमाफ्रॉस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर बनाया गया है वो उनका रेलवे, वो पिघल जाएगा तो रेलवे गिर जाएगा, वो प्रॉब्लम होगा। अगर वो होगा प्रॉब्लम तो एंड बाकी इनका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो है, ये ब्रिजेस हुए हैं, रोड्स हुए हैं, अगर इसमें दरार आ जाएंगे, प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगे बिकॉज ऑफ ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, वो होगा, इसमें डाउट नहीं है। देन वी हैव टू वेरी सीरियसली सी कि क्या कहानी है और हमें पता चल जाएगा क्योंकि इक्वल इफेक्ट ऑफ दिस विल हैपन इन और हिमालयास, though in our Himalayas there'll be other effects because the soil is very loose here, but there it's going to be this thing. It needs a lot of things. Yeah, in theory, is Indian media really? Indian media never says anything which is Indian perspective. Uh, I don't uh, blame them because they operate from a very uh, wide database and knowledge base. So they're shallow. Their knowledge is wide because they have to keep handling so many subjects on an everyday thing. But uh, they're shallow. So I don't blame them. तो knowledge जिसका नहीं है वो तो ऐसे ही बात करेगा. Okay. Lieutenant General sounds British. Prefer Maharati. I don't understand. You think I'm a Britisher? Forget it. So, will a declining population and reducing water pressure and agri resources, will they be able to come back after 5 to 10 years? It's a very interesting proposition which you put because as the population decreases, uh, everything reduces, your requirement reduces, your efficiency should go up. Uh, on that, there's no doubt. But the problem is the population is aged and you're missing the bottom, right? So, what will be the effect on this? One doesn't know. So, we'll have to see. This is something actually China is entering into a area or a gray zone of its own. It's going to have a gray zone battlefield of its own, actually. We'll have to see. We'll have to predict what will happen. But let me tell you something. I mean, for the next 7 years, nothing is going to change. And that's part of my next presentation. If you see their population, till 2030, the population change is not that much. So till then, these problems will continue at the same rate and even worsen the situation. And from then, they're going to have a population decline, which we'll see later on. I've seen a video of traveling in China and the villages in bad condition in comparison to ours. Yeah, I agree with you. Completely, if China wants to do, don't worry, China will not go to war, Shivam. Please, don't relax. Just relax. Take a by chill pill. आज के जमाने में के बात है, take a chill pill. Great analysis. I hope our government in the center can from, well, that's their thing. Value versus entertainment. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, Three Gorges Dam weak point is in terms of security. I don't know. They could be because one of the things is that if which was spoken of a couple of years back, and often now it comes. What if Taiwan attacks the Three Gorges Dam and destroys it? Then what will be the effect on China? Okay, it might be catastrophic. Okay. Good evening, General Sir. West has helped China in destroying its environment while saving Western environment. I think Indian government reconfigured its growth with. Yeah, I think so. We need to. I mean, that's the logic. The Chinese were pretty foolish to fall in the trap, and the communists have. You see, the problem with the communists is that they want to prove that they are the best at everything, and the only way to have that best at everything is rapid growth because that's a social contract. We'll give you your economic prosperity, you give us your freedom. Till the time that economic prosperity is there, people won't ask for freedom. When that economic prosperity is threatened, people will start asking for freedom and their power will start taking. And that's likely to happen. I don't know how it will happen. Not, I'm not too very sure. I'm not very sure about it. But my guess is we're seeing the rumblings of that in some manner. I read a travelogue the other day of someone who's been to China and come. There is some halchal behind underneath, but whether it will come to the surface, we don't know. Whether it will just stay subsurface, but be bad enough to pull the economy down, we don't know. Okay, Sucharita Sarkar. Good evening, sir. It is true. Is it true that groundwater China is heavily contaminated? Is it true a reason for the water scarcity is because of thousands of dams? Yeah, both are right. Especially where they do rare earth, you know, mining and where they do rare earth purification and everything, their groundwater contamination is very bad. And dams, it's proven. You see, the Chinese are dam builders. They take a lot of pride in building dams. The biggest dam, the heaviest dam, this, that, all that. And Three Gorges is supposed to be the biggest dam on earth. They're very proud. They're good at it. They're good at it. But is the dam good? That's the $1 million question. So, Charita, I think you're right. We're going to have problems. Okay, if China wants to go for war, I, I think I should give you a break. Okay, India, right? Why Pakistan gifted Shrugsgum Valley to China? They wanted something from China. That's about all. They want China to help Pakistan, so they gave it. With environmental and economic pressures in China, will the CCP lose its? That's the $1 million question, BBRG. Will they do it? Will they do or not? I don't know. But these are the major questions which will unfold in times to come. And that's why I keep talking of it as we keep talking, as people keep understanding what's happened in China. If a situation comes, then you're able to handle it. That's the point. Yeah, exploited earth resources so much, it's going to be cursed by Mother Earth. I agree with you. Uh, okay, I'll give it a miss. And Srinivas, solar, coal, nuclear, hydropower is all in all. Sector China, all sectors is China second or third place, but not enough for their needs. Yeah, they look. I go back to what Mahatma Gandhi said. There's everything in this world for man's needs, but there's nothing in this world for a man's greed, and there's nothing in China for Chinese greed. Okay, so one has to look at it from that point of view, maybe philosophical, but I think that's coming out true. Right. So I finished with today's thing. I don't see any more questions. Uh, I've had a great time giving this presentation because I had to do a lot of tracking around. एंड लाइक आई सेड दोबारा मैं बता रहा हूँ जो पिछले प्रेजेंटेशन जो 3 दिन पहले मैंने दिया था ऑन फूड इनसिक्योरिटी दिस प्रेजेंटेशन और जो मेरा अगला प्रेजेंटेशन आप तीनों साथ देखिए, आपको क्लियर नजारा आएगा कि चाइना कहाँ जा रहा है, और मेरे हिसाब से कहीं नहीं जा रहा है. Okay. Last, there's some. Thank you, sir, for educating today's youth regarding Indian defense and various other points. I join as soon as my job finishes. Thank you. I always wait for your videos. Only channel. That's great. Thanks a lot. And thank you to everyone. And Jai Hind. And I'm flattered. Right. I do all this because I have to recharge my batteries by interacting with young people like you and some mature people who are also there. I can make out from their uh, comments. Thanks a lot. Good evening and Jai Hind. We'll meet tomorrow with Mr. Bipindra, who's the director of, who's the editor of Eurasian Times. Thank you. Good evening and Jai Hind.